Popping that ass.
You should write something down.
Oh, hold on. Hey, what's up?
Alright, stop talking about narrow urethras. I'm tapping that ass like a large tank of propane.
All right. Yeah, let me get into a nice relaxed state. I need to remember when I record the last podcast, I was projecting too much and you could really hear the echo.
Yeah.
So I need to
You need to chill, bro.
Yeah, I need to chill out.
Cup your balls.
My freshly shaved balls.
Yeah. You shaved today?
I did, yeah.
Hell yeah. Wait.
I mean, he was in the shower. For those of you at home, I know this is the beginning of the episode, but Luke said that, tried to high five my hand, and then he backed away like a coward.
I'll high five you, buddy.
Oh, thanks, man. Hell yeah,
Oh,
brother.
God, I got cum on my hand.
Well, I did not.
Well, you got his right hand, and we know what he does with his left.
That's what I said.
Okay, I want to ask. Okay, what's going on, everybody? This is Chad from the Pitt Crew.
Now you do it.
This is our first. Well, I have a question I want to ask the audience, but I want to intro the podcast and get it started before we start doing a bunch of other shit.
You got a nice radio voice going on right now.
Well, I was just saying right before.
You've got a nice cock.
I was just saying right before we started actually recording that I was projecting too much in the last episode. Mm-hmm. So now I'm trying to,
tone it down.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to have the audience hear as much echo.
Yeah, when we're playing video games, we're like up here.
Because the energy needs to be a lot more up.
Yeah,
So
we're playing
Chad's
video games,
natural
I'm up
level
here.
is down here,
Yeah.
This is looking to what Chad's more.
Okay, so I have a question for the audience before we get into what this first episode of the return of our podcast is actually going to be. Audience, do you think it's weird that I write with my right hand and I do a lot of stuff with my right hand, but I masturbate with my left hand?
That's called a stranger.
Yeah, that's a stranger.
But is that, audience, do you think that's weird? Because Luke has already said that he thinks that's weird, but obviously I don't personally. Burn, what do you think about this?
I just think it's weird that you take a banana peel and you stick in the microwave for 10, 15
No,
seconds.
that's not weird. That's genius.
Jerk off into
No,
it.
that's actually smart. How
Really,
dare
banana
you?
peel? I've heard like peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I've heard.
Why would you ruin a sandwich like
I've heard
that?
people. What is that? What is it called when you combine cornstarch and water? It makes that like. Well, it's
don't think
called
there's a
something.
name for it.
There is a
Play-Doh?
name for it. No, it's not Play-Doh. There's an actual name for it, but people will fill a bag with that and then slightly heat that up in the microwave and then wrap it around their tight
And then
gorilla
they
cock.
slap their cock with it to see if
Dude,
it's solid.
humans are incredibly interesting creatures.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you can stick your dick or wrap your dick in something that feels good, you will do it. I don't care what it is.
It's not just people's dicks. I mean, women have the same insanity.
True, guys
shove it
just
up there,
guys
yeah.
just want to stick their
I've
dick
been
in
on
stuff, but
r/bad dragon.
but women want to fuck anything. Like they'll fuck a
We're
Ferris
the
wheel.
worst. I've noticed, by the way, is us going back I was going back for the best of 2024 video, and a lot of it's just us talking about dicks.
We are a very dickly kind of people.
It's true.
You guys are just closeted gays. I mean, I don't know.
Closet.
Claw.
So the reason we decided to actually sit down and make this podcast was we are filming this the Sunday before we actually leave for the convention on Thursday, March 20th. By the time you guys are hearing this, it will be March 20th around noon to 2 CST. I don't know what that would translate to in your time, but right now we should be actually driving to the convention, which will be Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. And we're going to be down there for 3 days on March 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, that being that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. And so it's the first time we're actually going there as our channel, the Pitt Crew.
Yeah,
Which we're going, period.
So we're going to be handing
never
out
been to the Kansas
business
City.
cards and stuff.
Well, no, I'm saying to that specific one, but we've been to conventions before as a friend group, but this will be like the first. I'm just talking about a convention as a whole.
Oh, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
the first one we're going as the Pitt Crew. So even though, obviously we're not going to have hordes of fans going down there being like, oh my God, the Pitt Crew, blah, blah, blah. But I think it just feels
What are you
good.
talking about? I paid like 100 guys to show up.
But I'm saying
just like our videos.
But it just feels good to have that sort of like, yeah, this is our first convention and we feel
absolutely.
pretty fucking cool about it.
Although I will say, weirdly, I think like most of our audience is European.
We do that. Yeah, that is true. And I was going to say also a lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Canadian viewers that watch us. But yeah, a lot of Europeans, a lot of Canadians. But, you know, most people here in the U.S. just want to watch Mr. Beast and fucking Kai Cenat and all that shit.
I show meat.
Yeah, show meat. Dude, I doubt he's going to be there because he hasn't said anything about it. But Papa Meat Canyon, lives in Kansas City.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and he is into these kinds of things. But him and his wife fairly recently, like within the last couple of months, I think, had their first child.
Oh, wow.
So he probably won't be there. But I think it would be cool.
Shelby would fucking love if he was there. She watches him like every day.
Oh, dude, I watch him like crazy. Like he started off as his second channel, but now it's become his primary channel, which is Papa Meat, where he just kind of sits in front of the camera and just talks about really silly, very ridiculous things. And dude, it's a blast every time because he just has my God, that man has such a way with words. I love the way he articulates and fucking throws farting sounds into his videos and stuff. We are going down there as like a group cosplay. Do you guys want to talk about what we're doing as a cosplay?
Yeah, so we're going to strippers, right? And I am Penny Stripper. Luke is nickel stripper and Chad's quarter stripper.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least I cost the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depends on what part of the world you're in.
It depends on if they want to touch my head. That costs extra.
Yeah.
For good luck.
Yeah.
So Luke's talking about his head because we just went to our local barbershop and got his hair cut. And what are you going as?
So... we're going as the King of the Hill crew, and I'm going as Bill. So,
and for those of you that
the sexy motherfucker,
yeah, those of you that don't know, just Google Bill from King of the Hill, and his haircut should be fairly obvious out of the group.
So to get into character, I will be hanging out outside of female prisons for the rest of the month, trying to pick up some dames.
I'll be mowing along
before they get back on the market
and selling propane.
Yeah. So Luke is going to go as Bill. I'm going as Boomhauer. And there's a 1 hour compilation on YouTube that I've been popping on every now and again, which is just an hour of Boomhauer talking throughout all the seasons. And we watched the first episode of the very first season, and Boomhauer is a lot easier to understand than we remember. But we think that as the show goes on, he becomes just more and more incoherent because I think his brain is giving out on him TBH.
Dude, you're going to be watching that compilation and you're just going to develop schizophrenia.
Yeah. I'm going to hear Boomhauer in my dreams. Like, he's going to be my sleep paralysis demon. Yeah, and I just hear, Jesus. Oh, man.
No. I wish I had more money right now because I would have done. Did I mention to you the idea I had for a convention that we go to? Where I print out a bunch of pit crew themed shirts and just with our at the pit crew on the back and hand them out if people ask for them.
Oh damn, yeah, that would be sick. Yeah, we should do that. I think we have
I think that's a little better than handing out your business card.
Yeah. Well, so Brendan has stuff printed. I'll let you talk about it, Brendan.
Yeah. So I've still, from a previous thing, I've still got a few leftover poker chips that have the pit crew design and everything on it. So I don't know how many exactly. I want to say around 20 or so. So if you come up, just mention, pit crew poker chip. And if I've got any, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
If you want it.
Because we're not very, we're kind of desperate for the attention. Please come up and say hi to us.
Honestly, dude, what is this shit?
Yeah. Well, hold on. Before we get too crazy, what are you going as?
I'm going as Hank Hill.
Going as the titular Hank Hill.
Hank Hill.
The king of the hill himself.
Yes, Mr. King.
I am excited.
Mac Pimp Daddy, what the hell was it?
What?
Pimp Mac Daddy? The one when he's wearing the hat.
I have no idea. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. My brain inputs information and recycles it so quickly that I barely can ever remember anything that
one of these
says.
Conventions, one of us should walk around as Doug Dimmadome.
The funniest shit,
a 10-foot hat.
Yeah. The funniest shit about this whole thing is none of us have really actually sat down to watch King of the Hill.
I've watched King of the Hill at 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. on Adult Swim over the summer when I was in high school and stuff like that, because those were the time slots that King of the Hill was on. But I just don't remember that much about it because it was just that long
I was
ago.
never allowed to watch it.
Really? That's funny. I thought for sure that would be a show that your parents would be okay with.
No, they didn't even let me watch SpongeBob until one of my foster sisters was like, it's actually not that bad.
Damn, dude.
I was very sheltered.
there is like a wave of people like talking about like, oh well, SpongeBob ruined our youth and stuff like that. It's crazy. They were like, oh, SpongeBob will turn our youth gay.
They were right.
Well, yeah.
I mean, look at all three of us. I mean, I know you're married to a lady, Luke, but
Yeah, but that's just a beard, right? Like he's gonna.
it's just a beard.
Sorry, Shelby.
But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm mostly just excited to go to a convention that isn't local. Like it's still technically in state for us, but
Other side.
well, yeah, but I mean it's close enough. But still, it's just not like one of our local conventions. It is a bigger one, so yeah, I'm very excited to like get out and just kind of experience. I can't remember who all.
He's excited to be able to drive to a place where when his work calls him and asks him to come in, he says, I literally can't, I'm too far.
No, we won't get too far into it because we do have an idea for a podcast in the future to talk about our different work experiences and stuff. I gotta say that is one of the good things about where I work right now. I only work as a part-timer, and it's easier for them to work around and justify bringing in a full-time person. But they will, under no circumstance, unless it's like an absolute emergency, will they call me in to do anything, because they're just like, we can't bring the part-timer in because he, at a maximum by penalty of death, can he only work up to 30 hours a week.
Yeah, so it's essentially like if you work like an hour over, I think it's like $1,500 a year, you are full-time and you must get full-time benefits.
Exactly. So that's why they're like, fuck, we can't do that.
But they put you at like $14.99.
Yeah. They're like, Chad, come in for 15 minutes, get this 1 hour job done in 15 minutes and fucking leave right now.
But going back to, I guess, just talking about the channel in general, I really want to get that the best of 2024 video out before this weekend.
Yeah.
Even though that'd be like a ton of work. I'd have to work like fucking hours every day. But I want to get it done before this weekend because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that just like seeing us dressed up, like come and talk to us and want to take pictures with us. And if we just like explain like, oh, we do this stuff and blah, like I want that to be kind of like one of the first things they see is like, oh, look, this is the channel. This is what you're going to get.
This is us literally at our best. If you don't like this, you won't like what we continue to produce.
And I mean, also just kind of our, like the content that we make, I think that like a best of video is like going to be our bread and butter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, every video we do is almost like a best of video of that gameplay that we do.
So this is really like a best of the best.
Yeah. So I mean, if that honestly don't get you rock solid, Brennan, I really don't know what will.
I'm always rock solid.
Well,
don't worry, Brennan, you're in the video a little bit.
That's concerning. Yeah, but we're not going to put it. We're not going to put in your best moments though. We're going to put in the part where you fell asleep during Sonic Forces.
Was that last year?
No,
that
might have been a year before.
Yeah.
I was going to say 23. We actually did pretty good about releasing a bit more consistently. 24, we still did pretty good, but we took time off.
We got almost 50 videos, which is almost one a week.
Yeah,
that's not that bad.
No, not at all. Especially considering, for the most part, most of us are working all the time, and then we've got personal stuff with our families at home and stuff like that. So
yeah, 50 hours a week, baby.
Yeah, are you working 50 hours a week?
About 3 shy of it, but yeah.
Really? You're getting that overtime though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No, I get overtime every single week.
I was gonna say I just wanted to make sure that they're not like fucking you out of your overtime pay.
I make pretty good money.
Yeah,
yeah, but
you just got immediately.
You just got to be a body though. It's a lot easier than like constructing the videos, just like performing in it,
Oh, I thought you meant at his job. I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
I'm talking about the videos.
Bro, I've seen the work Brendan does, and that he's not just a body there.
Speaking of, I showed up to your work on Friday, and I didn't find you
on Friday.
I think so. I think it was Friday. Shelby and I went to the mall to get this hat, this beanie, and something else. I don't remember.
I might have run out to get lunch, or I probably could have been in the back putting something away.
It was around like 2:00 or something like that.
Fuck, that doesn't help. Dude, I'm running around that building all day. I might have been storing a pallet somewhere or something.
Dude, I got the tour, and I even got to go back into the employee only area.
Well, the one time I showed up and Brendan saw us, he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to get lunch. See ya.
Well, yeah, I literally had already ordered the shit, and it was going to be sitting there getting cold. I'm like, I got to get this fucking food.
What'd you get?
I don't remember.
Me and Shelby had Charlie's from the mall. Charlie's is good, but it's fucking expensive.
Yeah, Charlie's is good. I usually, when I'm out there, I'll get like Chili's, Charlie's,
Chimmy's.
Chimmy's. There's a couple other places. There's a good place out there actually, Chicken Coop. That's a good place.
I've been sorry to derail your talk of food.
P.F. Chang's
your
talk.
P.F. Chang's and stuff like that. I'm also going to sprinkle in some questions into this video. This is going to kind of double as the convention, the pre-convention.
I didn't sign up for a quiz.
And then, but I'm also just going to sprinkle in, kind of make it also like a little introductory Q&A. You all right there, Brendan?
Yeah, my finger was like jammed.
My finger.
So, well, first off, my question is less a Q&A question and more of like, what was the first video that Brendan was in? Because obviously we've been in video since the beginning, but what was the first one that we had Brendan in?
It was pretty early on.
It was pretty early on. Let me
think.
Was he in any video? No way. Would it have been Fallout?
I think it was literally the Fallout one.
I think so.
No, because he was in Legend of Zelda, and that was way before Fallout.
No, because for Fallout we were still using the Blue Yeti.
Really?
Yeah, Fallout we still used the Blue Yeti.
But Fallout was edited like Skyrim.
But that was the first of its kind, and Skyrim came out almost a year later.
Technically, I think it was the podcast video in 2016.
No, we don't count that.
All right.
You were in the best best games of 2016 video. That's right.
Holy shit!
If you're not counting that, then
yeah, we've been doing this for a while, guys. By the way,
yeah,
but we've been good for like 6 months.
No. I would say
for like a day.
I mean, seriously, Modern Pit Crew for me starts at Skyrim.
Yeah.
And I think since Skyrim, we've gotten better since then.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time.
Was it Ocarina of Time, really?
I would say Ocarina of Time 7 years ago.
Oh, damn, dude. That is crazy.
What was the first Pit Crew video you were in, Chad?
Castle Crashers.
Oh, man.
Is that the Pit Crew, though?
No. So you're thinking of other channels that we don't want to talk about?
The first thing we tried to record was Castle
Crashers.
With us two and Sam.
But we were recording on a Blue Yeti, and we didn't know anything about how to work a controller stick without making it sound loud because we were too hyper. We were too like, oh, we got to be big YouTuber energy type shit. And so the whole time you're just hearing clack, 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 along with, yeah, haha, poop, pee, poop, fart, haha,
oh man, Sam, that was so funny.
Yeah. I remember this is kind of a deep cut, Brendan, because obviously this is another thing that never came out. But before I did stuff with the Pit Crew and I was doing stuff for World Crushing Wizard, do you remember we sat down and tried to record a video of us playing Smash Bros together? We tried playing Smash Bros Melee on emulator.
No, the only thing I remember recording with you was I think Doki Doki Literature Club, where I did a voice of Kermit for one of the girls.
It was the chick with no legs, I think.
Yeah, and that wasn't Doki Doki. What was
that? Was Kato Shoujo.
That's what it
Kato
was.
Shoujo.
Yeah. I do remember that.
We voiced them all, and I just did the Kermit voice for them.
If you guys heard that and are like, oh my god, are these videos out there? No, they're all privated.
You'll never see them.
We'll record them at 1 million subs.
Yeah. To be fair, the reason why most of them are privated is because a friend of ours had a name change, and she requested that I private or delete all those videos where we use her previous name, which obviously I'm going to say yes.
Go back and voice
at
over.
first I think she just asked to censor that, and you were like, that's way too much work.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'll just private all them. It's not that big a deal. I had planned on deleting all those videos anyway. I think they're still up and just privated, but at some point I will go through and just delete them all because...
If we're speaking of old Pit Crew stuff, though, like, I just want to ask you guys, what is like the video you would recommend for people to go back and watch if they like... Because a lot of people that are hopping on like only are watching our newer stuff come out. So
I mean, I would say where Modern Pit Crew started for me, and I would say Skyrim. Like Out of Context Skyrim, I think is a video that encompasses a lot of what we do now in terms of video production, but was just I would say it was ahead of its time in terms of the content that we were making then. So I would definitely go watch Out of Context Skyrim. Ignore the fact that there's a little 2-minute bonus episode. I forgot that the rest of that footage, we did a bunch of stuff with the Naruto mods and like the ninjutsu and stuff like that. But for some reason, I don't know where it went. It just is gone. It's to the ether. That bonus episode is what we got.
I'd say Out of Context Halo Reach.
Oh yeah, dude.
That shit was funny. Also, it was one of those things where like for the longest time, we'd sat at like 20 subscribers or something. But when we started the Out of Context series, the little mini series, if you will, that started going up because it's shorter video, catches attention spans more.
Well,
which is what TikTok's based on.
Had that younger editing style that's very like in your face and fast paced. We have slowed it down since then. We still do edits and stuff like that. After a while, I was just like, dude, even I can't like keep track of fucking everything that's happening in this fucking video.
And I think also just like our performances have been more consistent because it felt like, you know, if I got like an hour of footage, I'd cut it down to like 20 minutes. So like a third of the footage I would be usable. Now it's like I use like half.
Yeah.
You know, so the pace might be a little slower, but I think it's like tells a better story.
Yeah,
better quality.
I think so.
The one I would suggest is probably Sea of Thieves, which is really funny because that's actually, we recorded that in 2017, I think. That was like early that we recorded it, but I like put it on my computer and just forgot about it for like 3 years.
That's why it's known as like I think you
The
titled
Lost
it the Lost Episode. Yeah.
One thing that probably holds us back is like our thumbnail game isn't great. At least mine isn't.
Yeah.
So like the Sea of Thieves thumbnail isn't very good, but the video is great.
Yeah. But that just comes from the fact that we're not graphic designers and we don't have any experience or like any education in that field. So
It's honestly like the marketing we don't know. Because there's like mathematical formulas of like, this is how you get people to click on your video. This is the thumbnail you need. And we don't know that and we don't do that. So
I was looking through the videos, and another one I think was the Out of Context Friday the 13th.
that one is also really good.
Slapped.
Unfortunately, he's not prominent in it, but it does feature a person we don't associate with anymore. He's not in there prominently enough for me to want to delete the video, but I think that's the only thing that kind of holds me back from. It is a really good video, though.
I can't even really remember. I tried to like get in one of the car at one point and I couldn't.
I can't remember. All I remember is that I made a really funny
I think
edit.
you were trying to get in, you couldn't. Shelby got in, drove off, and drove
into the lake.
Yeah.
She drove into the lake. Yeah.
I can't see anything.
But I think that only exists as a clip. I don't think that's in the video.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
You need to watch
think,
that video now.
I love the King of Ravioli.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck I was on because it was like, what, midnight, 1 a.m. when that was happening?
Yeah, because it was during the pandemic that we shot that, and I think most of us weren't working at that point.
I was so tired, and I was just spouting shit.
You've been panned
by the king of ravioli.
Oh my god! So we made a post like quite a while ago when we thought we were going to make a different style of Q&A video, and so we do have a couple of questions from the audience members. We have at Lunarstar 5355. They're basically asking, how did you decide you wanted to start a YouTube channel together?
They asked me to be in a video.
Well, I mean, I nagged Chad about it because like, I don't know, us hanging out, we were always I thought we were like funny. And so I was like, well, if we just like record shit and put it online, especially because it was in 2016 or whatever, the king of YouTube back then was just like a Let's Play. We were like, we can do that. And then we did it to like a lesser degree, but now every other Let's Play channel's dead. So we're taking over.
It's like from the ashes of everyone else's failure.
Like a phoenix we rise.
We will rise from the pile of shit.
But the issue is that like Let's Plays just aren't pushed anymore.
Yeah.
So
because now their gameplay is still big and it always will. But now it's very much that a singular person sitting in the bottom left or right, green screened out, and playing Roblox or fucking Minecraft or Fortnite.
Dig a hole.
Or whatever popular game is going on, and then being very like over dramatic, being like, what's up guys, today we're gonna be playing Minecraft, but I don't stop playing until I shit my pants. Just silly shit like that.
Feed you laxatives.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like just streamers took over YouTube.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's like it's tough to compete because like while streaming isn't easy, it's like more producible content.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
There are people who do like big subathons and stuff, but streaming does have a much lower entry because I think if somebody stumbles upon a stream that might not necessarily be as fancy, you still could gather an audience if you get clipped and that clip gets shared and stuff like that. Whereas, if somebody pops on a YouTube video, they kind of have an expectation from the beginning. Yeah. Where, if you hear your fan buzzing in the background and you kind of sound like this or her, people are going to click off that shit right away. But if somebody sees you from a Twitch clip, they'll be like, oh yeah, dude, I want to watch that person. Dude,
and it really sucks that like the one person I've seen so far like react to our clip is like I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say, but I'm saying he's big, but like that, I don't think he's a big streamer.
Right. Yeah.
So like he only had like a couple hundred people watching him, and like when he reacted to it, he didn't even react that hard. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this before."
He's like, "I've seen that before. It's still very funny." Well, I mean, I'm gonna say exactly that. This person ended up not being a very good person. In fact, they ended up being a horribly racist person. I know I don't feel bad about saying that because that narrows it down so little in terms of online content creators that nobody's going to find out who it is.
And that's the fact that's fucked up.
I know.
That narrows it down
people
not
that came
at
here
all.
from him.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think we only got one comment that was like, anybody hear from this? And nobody responded to it.
Yeah, so he didn't even really help us. So.
Yeah, exactly. So fuck that guy. No, I'm just kidding. I do have another question. This one coming from Shorty Boy 2241. He said this question is for Chad. How many of the pit crew members have you seen naked?
At least one. What's up, buddy?
Well, not fully naked. I've seen your dick, but I've not seen you completely naked from like head to toe.
We haven't
fix
seen
that.
full hole.
Show me full bush right now.
We can fix that right now.
I'm good.
It's not very full.
No, I seriously haven't. I don't know why you asked that question as if I'm like trying to hide.
What do you mean me?
Oh, sorry. Shorty Boy 2241. I don't know why you're asking that question, making it sound like I've seen multiple members naked. I've only seen
fact, people, that is actually what it takes to get into the pit crew. Is part of the process is Chad has to see you naked.
You can't say that.
No, that's not true because we have women on board, and I don't think they would feel very comfortable being a part of that joke.
Coming our way right now.
Candace is gonna fucking sue.
I applied to work for the pit crew, and they said they need
Candace
to
would
see
agree
me
with me.
naked.
No, so I've seen Brendan's dick.
Twice?
Brendan is very proud of.
You flashed it in my apartment. What was the other time?
I thought you said you've seen it twice.
You said I've seen it. I don't remember this. I think in a recent video you said if you're not 8 inches flaccid in a blizzard.
Yeah, just kill yourself.
Yeah. Just fucking end it all.
What video was that?
Oh, dude, it just came out, but I can't remember. Was it, guys, we have dementia. I'm about to turn 30. I can't remember anything.
Put in 30 by Bad Flower.
Peggle. It was in Peggle.
Oh, yeah, it was Peggle. Yeah.
A lot of good quotes from Peggle.
People really like that word peggling.
Peggling, yeah.
Yeah. So we got another question from Games Boy 22 or 2124. How do you guys decide what games you'll continue or which ones to wait? And really, I think the question, I think,
How do they feel about it?
I mean, I to be fair, really the answer is most of it comes down to when it gets to the editing bay, how much we actually really like it, because there are some videos, it's funny, there are some videos we feel good about, but then when we start editing them, they kind of stink. But then other videos we shoot that are really good or that we think are really bad, and then we edit them and we think they're really good.
A lot of it is like, how mentally fresh are we still?
Yeah.
For some reason, probably because we all have ADHD, like looking at a new game in like a new environment just like kickstarts our brains, and we're like more fluid and more like into it.
Yeah.
But if we keep playing the same game over and over again, we just kind of run out of stuff to talk about. Even if it's
we
like
fall
not,
asleep.
even if it's not about the game, like we just like don't have stuff to talk about. That's why I'm glad we finished Resident Evil 5, but it was definitely starting to get to be like a slog towards the end.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, oh, we've been playing this game for months at this point. So
And that for anybody who is wondering, that it's kind of what happened to Backyard Baseball too, is I know Luke, you wanted to play more of it, but I know especially me and somewhat Sam are just kind of like, it's kind of the same shit over and over again.
me and Sam got to that point with the last recording, and a big issue is that like Sam and I got like really good at the game.
Yeah, now you're just playing the game and winning, and
Yeah, with our stinker crew, we still win by like 15. It's just like, oh, well, what's the point?
yeah,
So
it happens. But it really just depends on how we feel about it in post-production. I would say post-production is probably the biggest content killer we have.
that is a great barrier for us. It's like, do we know how to play the game yet? Well, then if we do, it's probably not as funny.
But I think there's value in one of us knowing how to play a game and being good at it, in the sense that if we're trying to get through,
Nothing.
if we're trying to get through and also want to be able to be entertaining and crack jokes, it's good if somebody's already good at the game and familiar with the game. I think that's when I'm at my best, when I know how to play game and where I need to go. That way I can kind of autopilot on the gameplay and just start cracking and shooting shit with everybody.
I'm sorry, I can't look over there.
I will say, funnily enough, I think my favorite videos, but also the audience's least favorite videos, is the ones of Brendan playing and him having no idea what he's doing. Bioshock, or Bioshock 2 and Metroid. Like, both of those are like, the whole content is Brendan being turned around and getting lost and stuff. And people hate those, but I love them so much.
Talking about Bioshock 2 and other games, what are some games that we have played that you'd like to go back and make a longer series or just more videos on? Because for me, Bioshock 2 would be one of those games. I would love for us to go back and actually play through. Well, I would play through it probably, Brendan.
Well, it's not as fun.
Oh, I think I talked about doing Blitz the League again.
Yeah, you did.
Which I think those videos are privated now.
Yeah, I wonder why.
No, I mentioned what you're thinking about is actually in the Bioshock episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is in Bioshock 2, and that one. Well, by the time you guys hear this, unfortunately, that video will have been taken out back and shot in the back of the head.
Yeah, Blitz the League would be fun. I thought of another one. I can't remember now. Oh, well.
I know. I was saying.
You were talking about doing more Sea of Thieves, right?
After last night, I don't know about that anymore. Look, dude, the beautiful game, absolutely gorgeous. I fucking hate it.
Well, yeah, it's bad.
It's a love-hate kind of thing with Brendan, and I understand it. I think when we all play Sea of Thieves together and we actually aren't just sailing around trying to look for stuff, if we kind of have a goal in mind, I think that's when I really like.
Well, they've got goals now. The problem is like the game just fucks you over even when players don't.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think I would enjoy it a lot more with actual goals in mind, because then I start getting bored and I start throwing our treasure off the boat, and then you guys get mad at me in real life.
I think a real issue with that game is, though, that like there's a good chance whenever you run into a player that they're hacking, but like the community won't accept it. So like one thing we've been running into, I shouldn't talk about Sea of Thieves for too long, but I just wanted to mention this. We keep running into people shooting their cannon like twice as fast as what like is physically possible. Which is like clearly an exploit.
Yeah.
So like we looked it up online, and there's people that talk about it in forums, and then literally like the top comment is like video or I don't believe you. Like, you don't have any proof. So
yeah.
I would say one to go back and revisit, which we are right now, but we're not recording it, is Sons of the Forest.
Yeah, I would
and
love
just the
to
Forest
do.
in general, because God, those are just fun to play together.
I wouldn't necessarily want to set the in-game difficulty to it, but I would love to do. I think we should do a hardcore in Sons of the Forest, but not you go down, you die. But like if you actually die, then I just cut your audio track and you're not in the video anymore.
That's another thing is from earlier.
What if you die though?
Well, that's why I wouldn't be the only one recording.
Yeah. Well, what if you and I die?
Well, that's why we wouldn't be the only ones recording.
That's another thing is you were saying earlier, some earlier videos people should check out is that one, I don't know if it was just a clip out of context or what, but where I threw the fucking dynamite or something, blew up a tree, and then it fell on me or you or somebody.
It was a clip, but I think it did make it into, I don't have a separate channel for my own Twitch channel. And so when I made a highlight video, I asked Luke if I could just make it or put it on the Pit Crew. So my Twitch highlights video, I think it's in that video.
Okay.
That video is very funny.
Yeah, because it has a lot of stuff that obviously wasn't meant to be recorded as a video. And I think when we know we're not on camera or necessarily, you guys knew I was streaming, but you're not thinking like, oh, I need to be funny for a video. You're a lot more relaxed, and you're a lot more likely to do something stupid.
We're not thinking, oh, we need to be funny. We just need to not be racist.
Yeah, and that was my only rule. Is I was just saying, guys, please don't get me banned off Twitch. please don't get me banned. But yeah, I think that video is very funny. A very quick note. One thing I do want us to do eventually, I think it'll be after we move out of this house and I get settled in somewhere else, is I would like to get back to streaming, like on the Pit Crew as the Pit Crew. I'd like to almost do it. I would like to do once a month have it be like how we used to do it with Dalton and actually be in the same room and playing a game together. But then I think we should do it once. We should do.
Oops, I punched my mic.
We should do once a week where we're just playing games online. Like we play Helldivers or we play Sons of the Forest or we play one of those games. I think because I think that would be a way to give people who want to watch more streams the ability to watch more variety of content, and also people who want to see, like, people who watch our regular videos but want to see more, like they want to see like the unedited, like unfiltered type shit.
Yeah.
And I think, I think people would really like that, so I definitely think we should do that. And if we don't do that, well, I'm not allowed to say on YouTube what I'll do, but I'll just make sure everyone regrets it.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft. No, in Roblox. We're doing Roblox now.
Oh, we're switching over. Okay.
Yeah.
Once mainly the two of us get stuff figured out financially, like hopefully like the production will smooth out.
We'll ramp up, yeah.
Because my wife and I are looking at getting a home and being closer, which would be so much easier for like just getting together and stuff like that.
Yeah, because right now we live roughly about an hour-ish away, maybe a little less than an hour away from each other. So it gets a little hard to, well, I mean, to be fair, with the rate at which we kind of pump out videos in terms of like getting them edited, we kind of are on pretty good pace for how often we record.
Yeah.
Just because.
I mean, eventually we need to bump that number up of like at least 2 videos a week. Realistically, if you look at like Let's Play channels like ours, like they have to release like 3 to 4 videos a week to stay afloat. And we're kind of just not there yet.
Wake up, Brenton.
I'm not sleeping. I'm looking at like the angle of my shoe.
Fucking son of a bitch. Okay, I do have another question for you guys. Now, remember, a lot of these questions were taken back in December because I wanted to release a Q&A video for the new year, but it didn't end up happening. But this is from John PE7NF, and he was wondering, back in December, who was the first to win Destroy Dick December after No Nut November?
The fuck is that?
After No Nut November, who was the first to win who destroyed their cock first after No Nut November?
I destroyed it November 1st.
Yeah. I was about to say, I lost No Nut November pretty hard, but I really brought it back with Destroy Dick December. So
yeah.
I think I walked home with that trophy.
Well, what did you guys do to participate in Destroy Dick December? I mean, so I'll give you an example of what I did. So I took a spiked mallet.
God damn it, I was going to say a mallet.
I basically got a rolling pin and just kind of pressed my cock out and make sure that it was like in between fully flaccid and fully rock hard. It was like a half chub. And I just started mincing my cock and balls just like crazy. It was like, dude, honestly, I think it's a war crime for how bad I was just pounding my cock on the table.
So next question.
Well, I want to hear Brendan's answer.
Brendan.exe is ceased functioning.
Brendan is flabbergasted. He can't believe, out of all the fucked up shit Brendan has said, he can't believe that he just heard me say that. Well, I mean, I don't really have any other questions.
Let's stick a metal rod up your urethra. Your narrow urethra.
You're the one with a narrow urethra.
Everyone but me has a narrow urethra.
That's why you can't have another boy. That's why Bobby's your pride and joy.
Dude, I can't believe they brought that up. It's so crazy. The first episode of King of the Hill starts with Child Protective Services coming trying to take Bobby. I'm like, this seems like a YouTube poop. Like, for real. This seems like this is not real, but it is. He starts yelling at the family service guy, and he's like, I don't care. You don't come in my house and tell me how to be a father. And he says, the only thing I'm going to beat is your ass. Now
like,
get out of my house.
So how's your VR working for you?
I mean, it works out pretty good. Obviously, when people think of VR, the first joke they make is like, "Oh, you're gonna jack off the VR porn or whatever." But I tried playing.
But he tried it. It didn't work very well.
But it comes with a Batman VR game, which admittedly is a lot of fun. But I can't I get crazy dizzy when it's like intense VR like that, where like I look down at my hands and it looks like somebody else's hands, because I start getting dizzy and I start like almost falling over and stuff. So how the fuck anybody jacks off when they're that dizzy is beyond me. I don't know how they do it.
That adds to
also
it.
You look down and you see like a 9-inch cock and you're like, that's not real. That's not mine.
I'd be like, that just made me sad.
Yeah, you look down, you see an average 5-inch cock, you go, that's not real. That's too big.
Stop.
The only VR I could really ever get into was Super Hot.
I think we played Super Hot when we were still doing game night.
We did.
At Brett's house.
We did.
Because he was the only...
And I loved it.
He's the only one rich enough to have a VR headset back in 2014.
Yeah.
Which that's when it was a new technology, or new-ish. Like, it had been around for a little bit, but that was when it kind of became like a household thing that you could do.
It's kind of crazy that VR has been around for that long and it like hasn't advanced a ton, you know?
Oh, no. I mean, it honestly, it really has.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I haven't been following it at all.
Yeah. It's I mean, just within the last, you would think it would have been a feature they would have tried to implement beforehand, but I've got the Quest 3 and the cameras on front actually allow you to see while you have the headset on, whereas
so you
before,
don't bump into shit.
yeah, whereas before you couldn't. And it also has another safety feature where now you can basically make draw a line for your play area, and even when you're in the middle of a game, if you start going there, it'll show like a grid wall, and like it'll start flashing red whenever but it doesn't do the ceiling.
I was gonna say, how do you stop them from punching the ceiling?
Unfortunately, it doesn't do the ceiling. Superman. It only does the floor, and that's why I have this giant. Well, it was giant. It's actually healed up a lot now, but that's why I have this gash on my knuckle because I was playing VR Among Us. Well, I was actually playing VR Among Us in VR chat, and this guy came up to me and just started talking to me while we were in the lobby, and I was just like, hey, fuck you, buddy, and I punched up, and I punched the ceiling because I was standing up, and these ceilings are very low because this is actually a false ceiling, so it's very low, and I'm not tall, but I'm just tall enough where I got the full power of my punch and wasn't able to follow through, so my knuckles scraped against the damn ceiling. And I'm like, fuck,
that damn old ceiling.
That damn old ceiling, why's it gotta be so low? And why do I gotta be so high?
You guys ready for Pokemon Legends ZA?
What?
You guys excited?
I love the Pokemon ZA. Oh, I mean, so it took me a long time to get into Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I didn't think that was going to be a game that I enjoyed, but I just randomly bought it Christmas season of 23. And I remember, oh my God, I no-lifed that game so hard. And it was a lot easier because I was still working at that catering company, but I only had to work like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So basically Monday through Thursday, I was able to just veg out at home while Kendra was at school. And I just played the shit out of Legends Arceus, and I played for like 80 hours, and it was so sick. So yeah, I'm quite excited to play Pokemon Legends ZA.
I know you're like, oh, you know, Bayleaf needed something, but...
Meganium.
Well, yeah, Meganium. But... I hate that they went with 2 Gen 2 starters.
I don't care.
Why did they choose the worst starters for this game?
Excuse me? Totodile's right there.
And
you shut your mouth.
I like Totodile. He's still a bad starter.
No.
He gets Sheer Force, Brendan.
Also, Tepig. People hate on Tepig.
Well, because he was the last in the line of firefightings.
Yeah, I know, but they need to stop doing that. He's just a silly guy.
Hey, this one might not be firefighting. It could be fire... Ghost. Fire Dark.
It better not be Fire Ghost because fucking the Typhlosion Hisuian version was Fire Ghost. And I'm like, come on, just give him a unique typing. Please, just give him a unique typing.
He's going to be Fire Dark, the first Fire Dark starter, right?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about
with Intimidate.
With high attack, low speed, high bulk, and parting shot and U-turn, and also snarl, and also...
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to get the
all
game.
He needs is Intimidate.
I own like every
fake out?
Pokemon game.
Yeah, Incineroar's got fake out.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm very excited for it.
The weird thing is, though, apparently it's going to be set exclusively in Lumio City.
Yeah, I think that from the trailer, they were saying that it was going to be...
I think that could be cool. There's a lot of people like hating on that already.
Yeah.
But I think if you make like a really expansive city...
I mean, yeah, if it's a giant city where you can go to different parts of the city and they're aesthetically different, then that would be no different than when you were going around the... I think that it was... No, the Paldia region is Gen 9. Wherever you were at, the Sinnoh region in Legends Arceus, I don't think anybody's going to care. Like, if you can
it's
basically...
Pokemon.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. I know a lot of people are really hating on the fact that it's going to be in real-time battles and not turn-based anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not going to say that I don't like it. I'm cautious about it because that's a system that could very easily go wrong if they don't implement it well.
It's so weird because, like, I know
Speed
that
is
Pokemon has a
important.
lot of faults, but then there are people that are just kind of Pokemon haters.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so then they announce this game, and there's like a ton of new shit. It's very different. And like the main thing the Pokemon haters were like, oh, it's just the same thing. They need to change stuff. This trailer drops. Oh, that's all stupid. Why would they do that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what's the point?
It's like, okay, guys, I mean, if there was ever a time to try new mechanics and try different things, it would be for a spin-off game. I know people are really excited about it, but you got to remember that is still a spin-off.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not in the mainline game. So you guys will be fine. Listen, I'm going to get Mega for Alligator and you guys are going to lick the bottom of my balls. Okay? So fucking shut up.
It's
I'm
also
gonna
very
beat the
funny
shit out of
because,
you in that game.
you know, the one person that I watch on YouTube, I won't say their name, but the person that I watch that is a Pokemon hater, like, was playing Pokemon recently, and they were fucking horrible at it.
Were they playing Pokemon Showdown?
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Were they moist critical?
We'll cut that out.
I ain't cutting that out. He's a Pokemon hater? What a bitch.
I mean, kind of. He's like, I don't know. I didn't think of him as a Pokemon hater because he would just be like, oh, they need to change. They need to blah, 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 blah. And then I watched him play Pokemon Showdown. And I was like, oh, you actually just don't play the games.
Yeah.
But you sit there and say, like, they need to change. They need to do this. They need to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you can't really say that if you're not playing the games.
Yeah, that's less of a, I would say that's less of a him personally thing. And I think that's just what drives the clicks these days, is just hating on something or having an opinion on something, even if you've never necessarily experienced that thing. Yeah, you laughing, Brent? What's going on, buddy?
Nothing.
Why are you so quiet? What's going on, dude?
I'm just letting y'all talk. Y'all are more voices than I am.
You guys have way more voices in your head than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always just kind of a chill dude in the back, dude.
Well, and the thing about them, like, completely changing the formula and shit is that there is a Pokemon competitive scene. So if you completely change the formula, you would completely, like, destroy that and have to rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And people kind of don't think about that. I understand, like, expanding on the games in the way of, like, story, but then the times they've done that, people were like, well, now it's too linear and too handholdy. And it's like, well...
It's like, well, what the fuck more do you want, dude?
And people just say they want voice acting, which is like, okay, I guess, but is it that really a dream killer?
Right.
Legend of Zelda doesn't have voice acting, and nobody fucking complains.
No, that's not true. People complained about it.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
but everybody praises, like, Breath of the Wild and the newer one, Into the Wild.
Breath of the
No, I mean,
Wild, too.
they say it's a good game, but that's been a thing for Legend of Zelda for a long time. It's like, bring voice acting. It's like, no, but...
I just don't think Nintendo wants to do, like, localized voice actors.
No, I don't. And
Get Gilbert Godfrey to voice Link.
Yeah, he's
Brendan,
dead.
I was going to say, Brendan, I have terrible news, brother.
When did he die?
Yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah. He actually died just 10 minutes ago.
That
Yeah.
sucks, dude.
He
I wish I'd known.
saw that we posted cringe again. He said, we might actually have to, we're going to have to get that.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Well, I purposely wanted this podcast to be pretty short. In the future, we might make longer stuff, but I just kind of wanted us to sit down today. I didn't really feel like playing a game. I just wanted to sit down and talk with the boys for a little bit and just kind of talk about the convention, kind of answer some questions and stuff like that. In the future, you know, I'm hoping that we can get more people on, Sam, Candace, other people to kind of sit down for a podcast and hopefully produce these a bit more frequently. But I think for right now, we'll just do them whenever we kind of feel like it.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening, probably, like, while you're driving or something.
Yeah, or probably while you're whacking it.
Yeah, the only time I listen to podcasts is when I'm driving the car.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you ever do that, like, when you, like, if you have, like, a video on and then you're like, well, I want to whack it, and you're like, start, and you're like, all right, I gotta turn this video off. It's like, I don't want this going on. I don't want to hear, like,
Why would you just turn that video off then? Why would you?
Well, it's usually, yes, Luke, and it's usually when I'm on Twitch.
I'm like, I don't want to listen to Jimmy RuneScape while I'm whacking my meat.
Bro, there's no fucking way that you guys are watching like a Twitch stream and are just like, I want to whack it, and you keep it up. Why would you not
Well,
automatically?
no, so usually...
No.
Usually I'll be watching Twitch stream, and then I'll, like, hit the home button, but it'll minimize the stream, so I'll still be listening to it, and then I'll just be doing other shit, and then it's like...
Well, you see, Donkey's
Oh,
what
I'm
gets me
ready.
going.
But he's not what keeps me going.
Exactly.
Donkey makes Luke want to dunk it.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, spaghetti pie. It's like, oh man, I do want to whack it, don't I?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
And Luke goes, balls.
He's like, balls. Oh, my
I love
balls.
my balls.
Wait, dipping my balls in marinara sauce. Yes. Can we end this fucking episode already?
Sure.
You can probably cut out the last 5 minutes.
No, I'll keep that in. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and we'll get you guys in the next one. And if you guys are listening to this on Thursday, remember that tomorrow on Friday, the 21st, I believe, or whatever the date actually ends up being, then we will be at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. And we'll be there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll just be walking around. And if you guys see us, come up and say hi, snap a pic, and maybe get a poker chip. I don't know.
Chad, if you were a superhero in Invincible, what would your power be?
Death.
Being really good at business and also being a baby.
Could you beat Mark Vincible in a fight?
Yes. You don't know how I do it?
Sure.
Throw a metal rod in his dick and bang it with a hammer.
Bro, Mark's gonna fight Satan next season.
Okay. Damon Darkblood.
I haven't even seen.
All right, thanks for watching,
Episode
guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Brendan, say something really bad that'll have to be cut out. Beep. All right.
The economy's not that bad. It's your fault.